So, how do you say how are you in Spanish? This might seem like an easy question because if you go to Google Translate and you type how are you, you're probably going to get the basic and exact translation for this. Or if you're a Spanish student, you probably know the answer for this question from a very basic lesson. In this video, you're going to learn 24 different phrases to say how are you in Spanish. This is very important to know because if you have conversations with native speakers, then it is bound to happen that one day you're going to face one of these phrases that you're going to learn in this video. So let's start with the basic phrase to say how are you in Spanish. And this phrase is ¿Cómo estás? We learn this phrase most of the times in our basic Spanish lessons. And if you see a basic dialogue, it's very likely that you're going to find dialogues like Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, ¿y tú? But when you keep going deeper into learning Spanish, you can find that there are so many different phrases to say the same thing. For example, if you're in a neutral situation, which means it's not formal and it's not informal either, you can use phrases like ¿Cómo están?, which is the plural for ¿Cómo estás?, ¿Qué tal?, ¿Cómo va todo?, ¿Cómo has estado?, ¿Cómo van las cosas?, ¿Cómo te ha ido? And I know that some of you might be thinking, ¿Cómo van las cosas? It sounds like, how are things going? And you're right. But in Spanish, we use these phrases just as we use how are you in English. Now, if you're in a formal situation, like if you're talking to the doctor, or maybe you're talking to someone who you want to show respect to, then you're probably going to want to use these phrases. ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo le va? This sounds very formal. It's not for informal situations. Like when you want to talk to your family, your friends, maybe for that situation you want to use ¿Qué hay? Or ¿Qué hay? That's how most Spanish speakers would pronounce that. ¿Qué hay? ¿Cómo andas? ¿Cómo vas? So that would be for informal and formal situations. But when you learn Spanish and you know more vocabulary and you start to interact with more people in Spanish, you begin to realize that depending on the country, people might use some phrases and in other countries they would not use them. For example, in Colombia, people would use phrases like ¿Qué cuenta pues? ¿Qué se dice? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más pues? ¿Qué más parcero? ¿Qué hubo? Which is mostly pronounced by native speakers like ¿Qué hubo? And these phrases are very popular in Colombia, especially in Medellin city. So if you're in this country or if you talk to someone from this country, you're probably going to hear these phrases a lot. Other phrases are ¿Qué hubo pues?, which people would pronounce as ¿Qué hubo pues? ¿Bien o no? ¿Bien o qué? ¿Todo bien? ¿Cómo vamos pues? All these phrases means how are you? Although I know that some people might feel like it doesn't make sense. For example, the phrase bien o no, if we translate that into English, that would sound like good or not, or good or what, and it doesn't really make sense when you have a conversation in English. But you gotta know that in Spanish it does make sense, and for people who speak Spanish in Colombia, that's just like saying, how are you? Or how are you doing? Or how's it going? Something else that you gotta have in mind with these phrases is that people in Spanish make a lot of redundancy when saying hi. So you might find a native speaker that use these phrases once or twice or even more times just to say one time, how are you? So you can imagine an English speaking person saying, hi, how are you? But in Spanish, you could find Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo vas? ¿Qué hubo? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más pues? ¿Bien o qué? ¿Cómo vamos pues? ¿Qué se dice? Just have in mind that there's a lot of redundancy when saying hello. So next time you talk to a Colombian, you're gonna be prepared, you're gonna be ready for those phrases, and you're going to understand them instantly whenever you hear them. In Mexico, people could say, ¿Qué onda? Again, this means how are you? In Spain, people could say, ¿Qué pasa, tío? Or in Argentina, people would say, ¿Cómo andás? And these are some phrases just to say how are you in Spanish. If you know more phrases, please share them in the comments below with me and with other people who watch this video. And if you like this video and you want me to make more videos like this one, also let me know in the comments below so I can keep creating more videos like this. Please hit subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you in another video.